Mr. Johnson, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice to see you.
Nice to be seen.
Oh, there's Jeff.
And our next award is one of the region's hidden success stories. He survived the Great Recession by breaking out of his comfort zone and that of his employees. He's a community volunteer. He's a serial entrepreneur. His name is Kevin Johnson, and he owns K. Johnson Construction and Polished Concrete Plus and Minnesota Concrete. Oops, I'm giving away the story now. So let's watch the video and let Kevin tell his own story.
I've been in construction pretty much my whole life. Back when I was in high school, my dad, used to take us out of school to help on projects. In the summer, we worked in the field, working all the time, construction. So I kind of grew up in that industry. The recession back in the late 70s hit. And at that time, my dad had a business, construction business, same as what I'm doing now. It wasn't very big, so we had, I think, 4 or 5 people working for him at a time. But things really took a turn for the worse. The interest rates were 20, 21%, whatever it was. There was absolutely no building going on, and we did a lot of ag business back then. So he had some projects going on, and he asked me the winter, when I was my last year in school, if I would be willing to lead the few guys that he had. When you sit around the dinner table and hear him talk about losing a house and selling a farm, and that really makes an impact. So I guess for me it impacted me enough that sure, it really wasn't what I had planned, but I guess of course in the end it worked out all right. That was quite a challenge for me, going from high school. I was 17 years old when I graduated, and thought I had no plans except for go to Votech, and whether or not that was going to work out or not. I guess I was really, maybe you could say, a lost soul. And then I kind of migrated to St. Cloud, and then from there started back on my own as just doing smaller residential work, and then eventually got into the bigger commercial apartments. Migrated from residential with 1 or 2 guys working to the apartments, and then from there it just morphed into bigger and bigger projects, commercial work, industrial projects. Biggest challenge at K. Johnson after it was established, was a recession back in 2008, 2009. Until that point, things were just humming along. I mean, the whole economy in general was, great guns. We couldn't find enough people. We were turning down work everywhere, and mainly in this area, which was good. And I remember talking to a friend of mine who's a contractor, and he said, Kevin, I can't believe it. It's like the faucet just turned off. I mean, the job shut off, the bank shut off financing, everything just quit. To make this work, I proposed to the guys to take a pay cut, and they all did, including me. I took the biggest pay cut, and every one of them that stepped up and said, absolutely, whatever it's going to take to help you out. So, I can say I'm really grateful to the guys for stepping up, and people in the office. Everybody did, right across the board. Everybody took a pay cut. So we got into the government contracting work. Boy, we did kind of a wide range of things. We did some solar work for the government. We built some bridges, something that was way outside of what we would normally do. We did some geothermal work. A couple of guys on the crew got certified to install geothermal. The guys that I've got working there, they're not afraid to take on, hey, guys, I got an idea. What do you think? Sounds good.
Kevin's a big thinker, and he likes to come up with new ideas, innovative ideas, and probably some things I don't even know he's working on right now. But I really appreciate the fact that he does think that way, because for us as small businesses, we're all looking to try and figure out what the next new thing is or something that people need.
In 2005, Kevin learned about an industry trend for treating exposed concrete, making it a colorful and durable finished floor. One of only 3 companies in Minnesota to introduce the new process, it took a lot of selling at first, but today, Polished Concrete Plus employs 10 people. In 2012, Kevin began manufacturing decorative, precast concrete products for a company in the Twin Cities. These include fire pit tops, outdoor kitchen and bar tops, and fireplace mantles. Established just this year as Minnesota Concrete Products, the company's growth has been staggering, coming in at 40% per year.
Oh my gosh, the growth has been exponential, and we went from again pouring one top a day to now we're pushing out over 100 tops per week.
In 2013, Kevin turned a hobby into a new business. Tri-County Organics started with a simple plan to collect yard waste and turn it into compost for his farm. 4 years later, the business has 2 employees, collects food waste from schools, grocery stores, and restaurants, and offers a variety of recycling and composting services to residential and commercial customers.
It really didn't start out as this is what I'm going to do for business, but as I get into it, well, if we're going to make this work, I better try and make it work.
Kevin's integrity is the top. I don't know somebody that has a higher integrity in business and in our business community.
You get the right people on board, and it makes it a lot easier. And I'm, again, grateful for everybody I have working here.
Please help me welcome our Kevin Johnson from K. Johnson Construction, the 2017 St. Cloud Area Small Business Owner of the Year. And I also get to welcome back Roger Schlepper, Chair of the Chamber's Board of Directors, to present the award on behalf of the Chamber.
Thank you again, Teresa. I think everybody else would say it's pretty obvious after these videos that creativity and flexibility are some pretty good traits to have as far as in business. As Kevin's story has been told over the last several weeks, one of his longtime friends said, "Wow, Kevin, I had no idea you were doing all those things," which certainly makes some sense after seeing that video. Kevin mentioned that the biggest challenge he has faced in 30 years of business was the Great Recession. According to Kevin, the company was doing $4 million in revenue and in his words, it dropped like a rock. The creativity that Kevin has shown in starting a composting company and a manufacturing company is the same creativity that pulled him through that recession. And if you talk to him, he'll credit his employees every time. Isn't that also a common thread here as we watch these 3 videos? Nobody says they did it alone. As Kevin puts it, my guys were climbing wind towers 100 feet in the air when they're used to walking about 3 feet off the ground. If I said, guys, I have an idea, they'd say, let's make it happen. After 30 years in business, Kevin says he's still having fun, whether he's building a hospital or a house. He continually gets satisfaction out of a job well done. That and starting new businesses, obviously. At this time, it's my privilege to present the 2017 St. Cloud Area Small Business of the Year Award to Kevin Johnson, K. Johnson Construction.
Gail did tell me I have to speak for 5 minutes, so I double-spaced everything, and I'll talk really slow. Okay, thank you, Roger, and also to Gail, my new best friend. She's heard the story so many times, I'm sure she could probably tell it better than I can by now. So it's really good to see a lot of familiar faces out in the crowd. This is quite an honor that I've been selected, and definitely a surprise. Probably a good thing that John Hergis isn't here today. I almost half expect him to say, well, they took the wrong envelope. They read the wrong name. So, lucky he's gone today. So, anyway, congratulations also to the other award recipients. I ran into Nick a couple of weeks ago at the Pioneer Place for a concert and told him he's got a lot funner job than I do, construction. So, and I do have a quick story about Doug Bischoff. Probably a few people do in the room, but after 30 years in business, you get a lot of business advice, and some you solicited and others not. So 1993 was our first really big job that we had done. Lynn had got the project for us, the Becker High School. And my brother Keith was running the masonry crew at the time. And this is a pretty good sized project for us. And I know there was, during one of the weekly meetings in the job trailer, Keith was talking about some of the other trades, and I don't remember what it was anymore. Somebody was holding us up or whatever it was. And this went on for a couple of minutes. And Doug finally looked at Keith and he said, Sonny, he said, I suggest you put on your big boy hard hat and go out and kick some you-know-what. And we've used that once in a while, Doug, so thank you for that. So just like any building project, it starts with a good foundation, and I'm sorry for this, but you get a contractor selected for this award, and you get a lot of analogies with construction stuff. So, but anyway, my family is a solid foundation, and most of them are here today. My son's Kyle, a recent graduate from St. Cloud State, and Eric, a soon-to-be graduate at Gustavus. And my daughter Sarah, who can't make it, she's in the middle of finals week at Concordia College. So she's three of them were in school, so it's glad to have 2 out now. And of course, my wife Julie, who's here today as well, along with raising 3 children. And she was also involved with a business for 27 years, up until the last 3 years. So, and of course, she was a big part of our success as well. So she's as driven as I am, but in different ways, which gives her the love for life. So appreciate her for all the things that she's done. So, and you've probably heard the saying, behind every successful man is a hardworking, smart woman. Well, she definitely fits that to a T. So, and she does call herself now the self-described gopher for the companies. So those are her words. So past Easter night, I was out working in the shop, and my daughter Sarah came out to see what I was doing. And after some small talk, I just asked her what's going on. So what do you need? And usually at this point, she's asking for her money. And well, you think they get into college and they get past that phase, but that really doesn't happen. So Doug probably knows that. And so she wanted to know what it took to be in business for 30 years. So, and Nick kind of touched on this somewhat too, but good people, hard work, perseverance, and a little bit of luck. And that's what we've been, over 30 years. So, and I've been fortunate to have a lot of those good people working for me over the years, and there's a lot of them with me here today, and to help celebrate this honor. So they definitely, without their hard work and perseverance, maybe not a lot of luck, but they were definitely a big asset to our operation. So some of the other past, or along with the past and present employees, there's a couple other people that definitely deserve some special recognition. My parents, who unfortunately aren't here anymore with us, they were an inspiration to me without knowing it, and definitely taught me the value of hard work. You kind of heard that in the video. And my first and only boss when I moved to St. Cloud, Ed Kirshner, while my parents taught me the value of hard work, Ed taught me the meaning of it. He was and he still is a machine yet. So, and I don't really have time today, but I've got a really cool story about him if you want to catch me sometime about leadership and being a boss. So, and of course, my brother Keith, who was with me for the first 15 years of business, he decided to go on his own. Moved up north, Iron Range, and was doing basically the same thing today, and kind of the same process that we're doing as well today. And one last guy that they touched on a little bit in the video that I need to recognize is Doug Reitmeyer. Doug's the one that taught us the ins and outs of being a government contractor, which again, through those recession years was really a challenge for us, and I can't express that enough. That took a lot of people down, and again, I feel fortunate that we made it through it. So he definitely taught us how to broaden our horizons. Building bridges. The guys, again, they were all for whatever we wanted to do, and they were up for it. We did some solar project, like I said. Definitely projects out of our wheelhouse, which got us through the recession and onto the next phase of our work. So, and I should mention, I bid a government prize of monkey research facility in Peru, and if the government wouldn't have canceled the project, we'd have been down there as well. So I don't even know if the guys know that. So probably a good thing it didn't happen. So yeah. Anyway, look him up sometime if you get a chance. He's done some amazing things, including climbing the Golden Gate Bridge back in 1969, illegally, of course. So. Definitely, I know Doug touched on this a little bit as well. Centricare was a big part of our success. Again, they made a commitment to employ a lot of local contractors, and really, without their commitment to doing that, it definitely helped us through that. We went from looking at some mass layoffs for a lot of people to we were on a hiring spree, and that happened for 3 or 4 years, and we're working there. That's what happens when you have to lay 500,000 brick in a wall. So it was definitely a good experience for us, and I'm grateful that they took a chance. For us, a small company, it was a pretty huge deal for us. So and we really do appreciate it. There was a lot of firsts for us in that. First working with a tower crane, the first working with that tight of a spot next to the river. So definitely a challenging project, but a lot of fun too. So, and finally, I'd like to kind of clarify some of these reasons behind starting all these businesses. It's not just like the tricorn gas, adding organic matter to the soil, making new concrete products that are really cool, or making a concrete floor look awesome. That is definitely the 5-second elevator speech. It's more, to me, about challenges starting a new business from an idea and making it into a viable business. It's about tracking down equipment and designing equipment to make a process work better, or figuring out what to do with 30,000 cubic yards of brush or logs that gets dumped into your lap every year. And it's what it takes to make something better, cheaper, faster, or just different than anybody else. And the main thing for me, it's about bringing a new person on board, wondering if they're going to last a week, and watching them develop and grow into either a foreman or a manager or a long-term employee. So that's really the reasons why I started business. So So anyway, I'm going to turn it back over to Teresa because we got a crew of guys that need to get back to Sardell and get to work. Thank you.